Probably gonna there, look at that. There you go. So yeah. Hey everybody, it's Jason and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do what it takes to get my grandfather's old log wagon back into service. It's been sitting quite a while and it put up quite a battle, but it was a lot of fun, and in the end it worked out just fine. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, the front end of this trailer are the only moving parts, and they're the parts that aren't moving. So aside from the tires, everything seems to be turning. The rubber's kind of rough, but you know, it'll hold air for now. The tie rod ends are loose. The tongue, you know what? The tongue could be seized too, but I doubt it with that great big pin in there. Looks like there's lots of play in there. My guess is these two kingpins, slide over, look at that. I'll have to take a hammer to that. My guess is these two kingpins are just seized up. So I'll take a look at that, put some penetrating oil on them, and hopefully they'll free up, and then this thing will be able to turn. Because right now the tongue is in the straight position, and that's all you got. So yeah, that's the project for right now. So this bolt is in the top of the kingpin. I'm just hoping I can release that somehow. It looks pretty rusty. Maybe get some penetrating oil down into the kingpin to loosen it up. And it's the same on the other side, of course. Hopefully this over here can kind of bang out of the way, give me a little bit of room, but it's not that bad. So if worst comes to worst, I'll have to take it over and put the impact on it. You know. All right, well, let's hope, huh? Oh wow. It's not tight at all. It's not tight at all. Finger tight. That's actually the kingpin. So what I think I've got to loosen it, right? There's no way around that. So what I'm going to do, I will disconnect the this tie rod so it's kind of free. I'm going to go get my grease gun and see if it'll take grease. And then I'm also going to maybe go get a jack stand to put underneath there, and a block of wood that's just a little bit proud, and a big hammer, and see if I can't drive that down just to loosen it up and go from there. Okay, so we got a rusty nail holding this in place. I'm not even going to bother trying to straighten it. It's ancient. It'll probably just snap as soon as I try to bend it. Oh no, look at that. Look at that. There's still some life in it. Okay, well, let's try it again. Bend it. Let's see. That's what I expected. Snapped. Okay, let me do the same on the other side. You don't have to see this. 1, 2. That's good. Let's get it off. No problem. Slide it over a little piece, that'll do it. Okay. A piece of oak. Put it on top of there. Yeah, it didn't budge. Get that penetrating oil on, did I? Let's try that again, shall we? Not really. Okay. Next thing I'm going to try, smaller heavy hammer. Let's just give this a little tap. Yep. Alright. Both kingpins are soaking now. This might take a while. These rings are really stuck. I guess if all else fails, I can bring the torch out and heat them up. But let's see if the penetrating oil will do anything. I'll just keep applying it, and even if it's a day or two. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this tongue off. The tongue Needs a little bit of welding, and I was gonna lube this pin, and I thought, you know what, why don't I just drop the whole thing right out? Then I can take the tongue off separately and take it up and do a little bit of welding that it needs, and just leave the wagon out here. Come on, baby. There you go. Good, so that's out. Now my guess is that's gonna just drop through. Yep. So there we go. A little wiggle. And out she comes. Look at that. Cool. Alright, while I'm waiting, I'm going to try to take off these uprights. So what this holds a piece of wood so that I can pile logs on the inside. It only goes over so far, and I think it'd be a little easier to work on if it wasn't there. This bolt is seriously rusty, so I would not be at all surprised if it snaps. But stranger things have happened. Yeah, it's got that snapping feeling. No big deal. There we go. That's easier to get to now. Alright, let's try this side. This side's got a square nut on it, believe it or not. Seems a little bit more rusted in place. Like I say, I fully expect both of these to just snap. Maybe? Nah, that's gonna snap. No way. No way. Look at that. Look at that old square nut. I should clean that up and put it back on. Anyway, that's getting ahead of myself. So with these things out of the way, hopefully it's going to make it easier to get these kingpins out. Just out of curiosity, let's see if it takes. I think it's going in. I think it's going in. So when I went downstairs, I found this piece of, I think it's 1-inch black pipe. I've used it before as a drift. I'll use it again. Got my ancient hammer. I'm going to take this, fits on there nicely, and I'm going to whack it and hope for the best. Not anything. Like zero. All right. Well, that says it all, right? Oh, I'm just gonna let it sit. That's all I can really do. If I let it, I don't care if I let it sit for a day. I let it sit for a day. If I can't get it after this, I'll take these tires off and heat it up and hit it some more. There it goes. Bubbling through the top. yeah! One! If I can get that out, that's another concern. That's another story. Oh, yeah. That's work, I'll tell you. It's done. Okay, just to show you what we're working with here. You know, you can see the rust kind of caked on there. I don't know if you can see that right there. Like there's a layer of crappy, rusty, dirty garbage that's probably jamming her all up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these down. I think they're kind of small enough that they'll fit in my ultrasonic cleaner. I'll put it in with some Dawn dish soap and I'll get all this grime off. Then maybe at the same time I'll take a quick look at these wheel bearings because they're not great. I'm hoping that they just need to be tightened a little bit and you know everything will be fine. I mean, I'm not building a race car here, so you know, as long as they turn and they don't feel like they're gonna bind and they don't feel like they're gonna fall off, I'm gonna be awfully happy with them. So yeah, that's my next step. I don't know how much of it I'm going to show you, but trust me, I'm going to just clean these babies right up, lube them up, and put her right back in. Okay, here's how they came out of the ultrasonic cleaner, and then I hit them just by hand with a little bit of I think it was 60 grit paper, just to knock off the big crap that got loosened. And it looks a lot better. It's interesting. This looks like it's a little bit proud over here. So I'm going to have to maybe be a little bit careful about that, or maybe take that down just a little bit. I'm not sure if it's intentional or if... Actually, that's the part that was probably sticking up above the top, and then that little ring is probably where the water sat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with these Scotch-Brite roll-lock pads that I've got. They're not very aggressive, so they'll take out a lot of this without kind of digging in too far. You know, I can have a little bit of sloppiness in this. Like I say, this is not a Formula One vehicle. It's not traveling at 180 miles an hour. The kingpins just have to turn left and right, and I'll be perfectly happy. So yeah, that's the next step. It's going to be loud, so get ready. You can see that I haven't dug out the pits. I don't think I have to go that deep, but it's given the metal well, it's nice and smooth. You know, it's buffed it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. We'll give it a test in just a second, and I guess that's going to tell the tale. Okay, I've got some of these they're 3M sanding discs I've had for a while. I bought them surplus. I got them surplus. So all I'm going to do is just give the inside a little Just a little touch. Knock off any of the easy stuff. Doesn't look too bad in there, actually. Oh yeah. No problem. Look at that. Look at that. I'm sure the other one's going to be the same. I ground it exactly the same. So I will just get a little bit of grease and get these surfaces ready. Then put them back together. Unfortunately, I don't have new bolts to put in the top. They're 3/8 thread, but they're short. They're like 1 inch, and I don't seem to have any. So what I'll do is, for now, I'll just I'll put the old ones back in and put them on my shopping list for next time I go into the bolt place, which probably won't be long. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So exciting when that happens. When something actually works. And we'll put a little grease up here. Spread a little grease on this pin. Okay. That tongue. Pin. Let's use that for now. And hook up our tie rods. Stay high there. This is a tricky game. Looks like you gotta put one on, and then the other. Cool, and put pins in. Old school, no studs. Have to line the bolts up. Always a joy. So a little bit of love to the rear wheels. They don't turn, but they, oh boy, these are rough. Look at that, those bolts are coming out. All right, anyway, the bearing is definitely loose, shall we say. Yeah, it's loose, but at least it's greased. Okay. Oh, what did I do? Okay. So, in the spirit of farming and farmers everywhere, I'm going to use. Oh, look at that! It'll just turn. I'm going to use a pipe wrench because that's what I got handy. Okay. Some of that's the rim actually now. There you go. Let's give that just another little snug. Yeah, that's the rim moving. There's no more play in there. I'm going to have to put, either try to tighten these or just put bolts right through probably. Alright, I had a 3/8 carriage bolt that I just put in there, put a nut on the other side. I don't have very many, so I'll just add that to my list of things to grab at the hardware store. Just going to snug these down. Actually, they feel okay. They probably just came loose. Maybe they just came loose, but just the same. You know what? I'll probably... Oh, that one doesn't want to move. Let's not force it. That one. I don't really want to move much, but he moved. Oh my God. All right, so that tire's, it's on snug enough. Like I say, I'll next day or so I'll go in, but that you know, at least that bearing is tightened up. All right, I'm just going to do the same on the other side. You don't need to see it, and we'll see how the whole thing looks. This tire on my right is towed in quite a bit. So let's see if we can do a little adjustment here. Everything's welded solid, so I'm pretty sure the only way you can do an alignment is with a big old hammer. This curve out. Okay. All we need is a bigger hammer, right? Okay, that moved the whole tongue. So, put her back in line. Oh yeah, way better. Here's the most important part. Just like that. This tongue is separating in here. Looks like it's been repaired once or twice. It's all pitted and falling apart. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut back about 1 inch until hopefully I get some better metal, and then hopefully I can cut this back and get better metal, and then just tack them back together and maybe put in some kind of reinforcement. And it doesn't take weight, it's just a pull thing, so I'm hoping that that'll get me through it. It's probably gonna snap. Look at that. There you go. So yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, I'll cut that back, and then hopefully there's some good metal back a little bit here, and I'll just butt it back together. What's that? Looks like somebody's already tried to reinforce it from underneath. Maybe I can catch on to that too, pull it together and get it welded solid. So let's get on it. Definitely more solid metal there. So hopefully the other part's going to be just as good, and we can get this all together. All right, I've got it all positioned. It's not going to be the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's not going to be the worst either. It's going to be better than it was. So I'm just going to kind of tack it in place, and then I'll fill it in later, okay? So hope for the best. And as promised, this little, well, it's not little, this heavy duty brace I got underneath here will connect it, and I think this thing will be good for the next 50 years. Okay, well, there it is. There's my weld. A little bit of black paint on it. My apologies to anybody watching that happens to be a welder. I do not claim to be a welder. I own a welding machine, and I can turn it on and use it, just not very proficiently. Anyway, it's strong enough, good enough. There's that 1/2 inch piece underneath. It's going to be just fine. The last step in this wagon project is to make the the wooden uprights that will hold the logs in, keep them from falling out. You might recall I took off a couple of these brackets. That's what they do. They hold these chunks of wood straight up and down, or more or less up and down. I've got these 2 chunks of locust left over from the project I did with the other trailer. You might want to take a look at that if you haven't already. It's beautiful wood. Apparently it doesn't rot very easily, and I've got a lot of it. So it's already the right width in one direction. So I just have to take it on the sawmill and cut 2 out of each of these to fit the smaller dimension, which should be no problem. Then what I'll have to do is pass it in, and then there's a hole for a bolt, lock it in place. I've got new bolts to put back in here, put it back on the trailer, and it should be good to go. So let's get to it. Totally went and stocked up on hardware for this. Yep, that's going in. That's going in. It just needs to be cleaned out. I'll take care of that. I'll be careful. I hear Ollie out there right now. I'll be careful. See? Careful. Cool. Been using this ceramic anti-seize lately. It's made by Walter, you know, the people that make cutting stuff like cut off wheels and all that kind of thing. No affiliation, by the way, but honest, great stuff. I've always been satisfied with the product. There you go. It's snug. That's all it needs to be. It's not going to work itself out. Let's swing over. I'm going to do the same on this side. That. Get things moving. Don't screw them up. Tight, that's good enough. Right on. Okay, let's get to putting the upright brackets back on. That. That's okay. I don't really think this little hit of lubricant does much, but it makes me feel good. Like I tried anyway, you know. That on. That's backwards. Backwards. Anti-seize on everything. Stuff is just so, it just spreads so easily. It's sticky. Gets on everything and it's this bright white. Anyway, I guess it just preserves it, right? A little bit of love. Okay, you might remember on this rear tire that these bolts, because they're not tightened, and they don't really want to tighten. They're I'm not really confident in them. How's that? But they do want to come out. So I'm going to take out a couple of these. Put these in. Okay, I'm going to put a lock washer and on a bolt on back. I would need to replace that one too. Seems to me it was pretty short. These ones stick through nicely. Yeah, that one's kind of short, so I'll probably replace that. I bought a whole bunch of them, right? I bought enough to do the whole thing. All right, it's kind of tight in here. I don't know what you're going to really be able to see. Good. So that's going to hold that tire on. I'm not going to bother changing them all. Looks good. These other two actually threaded in not too bad. So I backed them out and I'm just going to give their threads a little love, you know? Oh yeah. That's fine. Let's see about this one. Seems to be okay now. A little more friction than the other one. Let's see how this goes. Not bad at all. That's good. That's tight. Awesome. That tire's never coming off. Just it's starting to rain here. I ran this stuff through the thickness planer just to get it, you know, snug and nice. Well, there it is, all finished. I put in those wooden uprights and they were a little bit too tall, I think, so I cut them down to 24 inches. I also passed them through the thickness planer just to make them look a little nicer. Got the bolts in to hold them nice and tight. See, it really is beautiful. It's kind of a shame to use it this way, but we got lots of wood. Wood's wood, right? All right, so there you go. That's the end of my video with this soon-to-be log wagon. It's an absolute work of art. Beautiful, solid, functional. Just what I need. Thanks for watching.